We understand that inflation is a very big problem. We understand the Federal Reserve has now said they're going to address that by increasing rates. In fact, we had President Bullard actually say he might go as high as 75 basis points, not his base case, but possibly in a single hike. This is part of what he said.
I would point out that the 1994 cycle, where we raised the policy rate 300 basis points in a year, and in that cycle, there was a 75 basis point increase at one point. So I wouldn't rule it out, but it's not my base case here.
So, Secretary Lew, clearly higher rates are coming. That's not a surprise to anyone, including the markets. But let me ask you, as you look at the U.S. economy, is the bigger risk right now recession or is it inflation?
Look, I think we have to worry about both at the same time, and I think the Fed is very much focused on both at the same time. I have never been as concerned with how quickly they move and what their ultimate destination is, and I think the Fed has been signaling a willingness to move at variable speeds, either 25 basis points or more at a time. What they haven't indicated is that they've pushed out their objective in terms of where the ultimate destination is. And that's what I keep my eye on in terms of how much pressure it's going to put on the economy. You know, the markets try to time when the moves are going to come, but in terms of the macro consequences, it's really where the ultimate end interest rates are and what that means in terms of growth. I think inflation is real, and it's very hard to know exactly how much of the inflation will roll off because the global situation is hard to predict apart from the economy day to day. It was not on the horizon that there'd be a war in Ukraine and that oil and wheat prices would be where they are, or that China would face a second round of COVID, another round of COVID, and have a shutdown with implications for supply chains going forward. And it's very difficult to separate interest rate policy and monetary policy from the global situation. The Fed is going to try, I think, to continue to manage a soft landing. You know, the odds are never good because a little more than half the time soft landings don't happen. But there's different kinds of landings other than soft landings. That you can have a bumpy landing, you can have a severe recession. You know, if I were sitting at the Fed, I would still be trying to avoid a severe recession, figuring that I have time to adjust my interest rate moves and my monetary supply, moves as I see what the impact is. I think the Fed's done an extraordinary job managing for the last 2 years, even if their timing can be questioned by some. I don't think that the situation is really the result of the monetary policy. You're seeing globally higher inflation because of the conditions caused by COVID and the economic conditions in its aftermath. I do think we have to be concerned about inflationary expectations settling in and becoming something that it drives up a wage price spiral. But I think the Fed is focused on that. They're trying to thread the needle between the two objectives of maintaining full employment while keeping inflation stable. And it's a very challenging moment.